I'm doing it. I'm declaring this to be the year of sci-fi for me. And I have a stunning first book to recommend. But before I do, I want your recommendations. I am interested in AI, augmented reality, bioengineering, and especially how this stuff is going to affect how people are actually living. And if it deals with the illegalities and the underbelly of what people are going to actually do versus the laws around it, I think that's the most interesting and where you can really get the best perspective on what things are going to be changing. And if I don't get any recommendations, I'm just going to read through the best of the Hugo and Nebula Award winners, just like I read through all the Newbery Award winners when I was a kid. The book is Autonomous by Annalee Newitz, and it is amazingly well written, which you don't always get in a sci-fi book. It was nominated for a Nebula, and it won the Lambda Award, which is a queer book award, and you'll see why. The quote that's really great is here on Neil Stephenson said, "Autonomous is to biotech and AI what Neuromancer was to the internet." And so there's a lot of levels and different types of discussions going on in this book. It's fascinating to see how much this author fits inside of it. And you're basically following the perspective of one bot who's working for the patent police, who are all powerful at this point, protecting their patented drugs, as well as a pirate who is on the run after finding out that one of the drugs out there is actually causing addiction in people. And so you have this nexus of illegality and what's going on in the underbelly of the world, what's happening in the rich parts of the world, and what's happening in the poor parts of the world where indentured servitude has come back and is a mainstay of economics. And you also have bots who are born indentured but can eventually earn their own freedom. And the idea in the law being that because bots cost money to produce, then they have to be at least indentured to their producers for 10 years. And maybe after that, they can get free or autonomous. So everybody is fighting for freedom, but it is not guaranteed. Humans can't be born indentured, but you also aren't franchised. You don't have the right to vote, own property. You have to buy that or earn it. And you can see this as an approaching future as the haves and the have-not diverge. And it's a big part of what's being said here. So it's an amazing sci-fi book on AI and what counts as human and biotech being weaved into it. Lots of great little examples, excellent characters and writing. But the queer stuff and the sex part is maybe the most fascinating because the bot is starting to wrestle with their own sexuality, as well as some of the humans and how this stuff interacts and trying to figure itself out. And you might even guess that the author might be on the autism spectrum themselves with how excellent they are at wrestling what it's like to be somewhat different in this world. And the last thing that is worth mentioning is that the author is the founder of IO9, which is a famous sci-fi story site, and this is their first book, so it makes sense that it's so damn